The 1963 March on Washington was a pivotal moment in the history of this great country. That moment in time was recently revisited as we celebrated the 50th anniversary of that event. Those of us who were old enough at the time must surely have our own cherished memories of the March on Washington. I shall assume that you, like I, watched most of the programs and reruns of that great day, and that you, like I, thought it a bit curious that there was not a single female among the many speakers that day. The great blues singer James Brown sang and perhaps wrote the song, "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud." And he wrote others, of course. He also wrote and/or sang, "It's a man's world, but it would be nothing without a woman or a girl." As the slang goes, you got that right, James. There were two women who did not share the stage with Martin that day, but through him, their presence was felt and their voices were heard. The poet Edwin Markham wrote, "There is a destiny that makes us brothers. No one goes his way alone. All that we send into the lives of others comes back into our own." It is my feeling that Martin's destiny was tied to Mrs. Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. It is my thought that Martin's destiny was tied to the great gospel singer, Mrs. Mahalia Jackson, who, as he was finishing up his speech, urged him to tell him about the dream, Martin, tell him about the dream. On that day, his dream for every child, for every man, and for every woman reverberated around the world. "I have a dream," he said, "that one day my 4 little children will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." I can hear Mahalia saying, "Tell him about the dream, Martin. Tell him about the dream." President Swalback, members of the Board of Trustees, members of the faculty, staff, and student body, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I want to thank you for the opportunity to visit this lovely campus. Yesterday, when I drove through the campus, it was beautiful. The sun was shining brightly, and everything was right with the world. Now, I don't know what brought on the storm for this evening, but it's all God's work, and we can all be thankful for it no matter what. This evening, as you commemorate the founding and the founders of this beautiful school for women, you have certainly made this city and this state proud of the work that you are doing. You have made this city and this state proud as you have grown to tremendous heights over the past 100 years. Your strength and fortitude are evidenced by your ability to survive the Great Depression, never missing a mortgage payment or a payroll, increasing your enrollment while consistently building a strong academic program. It is fitting and proper, then, that you honor and pay special tribute to Mother Mary Caroline Freeth, School Sisters of Notre Dame. Tonight, we honor them all. We honor all of those living and dead for their legacy. Surely, you have to be reminded today that you eat from fields that you did not plant. You drink from wells that you did not dig. The School Sisters of Notre Dame planted the fields that you might harvest the crops. The School Sisters of Notre Dame dug the wells that you might quench your thirst. They sacrificed that you might enjoy this beautiful campus. They, like Martin Luther King Jr. 50 years later, had a dream. They put their efforts and their energy into fulfilling their dream. Indeed, it is a dream that brings us here tonight. It is a dream. It is their dream that has been tested by time and tempered by generations of young women who were given an opportunity to get an education. To borrow a line from Ella Wheeler Wilcox, a poem that she wrote in reference to African Americans, we women have come through sorrow, need, and woe, but the cry of our heart is to know, to know. In that respect, we have come a long way, baby. For today, we know that we know. We have come undaunted by the challenges of sexism and racism, undaunted by roadblocks and no blocks on which to stand. We have come. A brief look at the history of early education for women in this country reveals that the first boarding school, female boarding school, was established in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania in 1742 by members of the Moravian denomination, later becoming the Bethlehem Female Seminary that was granted a charter in 1863 to award baccalaureate degrees. Now, 1863 has to ring a bell for each of you. for that was the same year that Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Other female-only schools started in the 1800s, long before the Civil War. Noted historian Phyllis Day wrote that in the early 1800s, white women were pretty much relegated to the status of Negro slaves inside and outside the home, for they suffered reprisals similar to that of Negro women. They could not vote. They had no legal protection. Both black or white women and white women were expected to behave with deference and obedience toward their owner or husband. Both had little education and few rights. Both found it difficult to run away. Both worked for their masters or husbands without pay. And both had to breed on command and nurse the results. Such were the times at that time. 100 years ago, perhaps around the time of the founding of this institution, this country elected Woodrow Wilson president of the United States. In his second term, he suffered a debilitating stroke, and his second wife, Edith, shielded him from his cabinet and the public, and according to one historian, Edith became the first female surrogate president of the United States of America. 100 years ago, a black woman suffragette, Ida B. Wells, led a demonstration for women's suffrage. 100 years ago, perhaps about the time of the founding of Mount Mary, my own sorority, Delta Sigma Theta, was founded on the campus of Howard University. Two other women who have played pivotal roles in the hierarchy of this country in their husbands' administrations are Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt and Mrs. Hillary Clinton. It's been a long time coming, but change is gonna come. We have seen the power of women at work. We have seen them build schools and families and empower other women. We have seen them dream dreams, and we know that for every dream fulfilled, another woman has dreamed many dreams that didn't come true. She watched them fade at dawn. But thank goodness she's had enough of her dreams come true to keep her dreaming on. So let the bells ring. Let the trumpets sound as you pay homage to the past and celebrate your great legacy of educating persons in order to transform the world. Tell them about the dream, Mount Mary. Tell them about the dream.